just Frankenstein's look, it wasn't for me at all. And I feel like this movie was just answering the question, like, what if Frankenstein fucked?
Now, run.
What is up, Drive-By Movies here, and you are watching
Fresh releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaise.
And it's another Netflix movie, but it's one of the most anticipated ones of the year. This week we checked out Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein.
In seeking life, I created death.
Netflix's newest original is the story of Dr. Victor Frankenstein, a brilliant but egotistical scientist that brings a creature to life in a monstrous experiment that ultimately leads to the undoing of both the creator and his tragic creation. So this is Guillermo del Toro's magnum opus, I think very akin to Peter Jackson's longing of creating a King Kong movie himself. Frankenstein is Guillermo del Toro's favorite movie, and it's something he's always wanted to remake or give his interpretation of the Mary Shelley classic. James, what did you think of Frankenstein?
Well, it's weird. Also, within the next year, we're going to get another Frankenstein-esque movie with The Bride, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, starring Christian Bale as the monster. But this movie, is the more, the approach to like a actual genuine retelling of the novel. I've never read the novel. Of course, I've seen the original one starring Boris Karloff. I haven't seen the one with Robert De Niro, directed by Kenneth Branagh, but I've always been curious to check that one out. But there's also countless other interpretations of the Frankenstein story. Is this the definitive one? For some people, I'm sure it will be. Maybe not necessarily for me, but I genuinely love this movie. I did have some problems with it. I think Guillermo del Toro kind of... one thing I find I can kind of get annoyed with is how much he pushes practical effects, how great practical looks, but then there's still so many cartoony special effects within the movie. But I'm getting the negatives out of the way because this is actually one of my favorite movies. I felt like such a kid watching this, in the visualization and style, that like I would have wanted to have seen this as a kid. So you really feel Del Toro playing with this movie like he's a kid with like figurines, playing in his bedroom at like such a young age, imagining how he wants to see the movie. And that's what we get within this movie. And like, some elements didn't work, but overall, like, it worked for me. It really hit the nostalgia for me, but also the visuals I thought were beautiful. The performances were great. And I like the little changes that were made also, whether they're different towards the book or the original movie. I liked some of the different interpretations this movie took. But what are your thoughts coming out, Blaise?
Yeah, this was a movie where I feel like you could see how much money was put on the screen between the sets, the costumes, all that stuff was absolutely excellent. But I kind of wish I did see it on a more premium format, obviously, than my home television. I would like to see it on a big screen, but it's not an option with the Netflix movie. So yeah, I just felt like this movie was one where I could see how much like love and adoration he has for the original novel, the original movie, but it just didn't connect with me. For this one, I feel like it also is kind of hurt it having Nosferatu, like Robert Eggers' Nosferatu last year, felt like, like almost the best version of Nosferatu in a way, like compared to, that 1920s original. I can still see James Whale's original film as like the pivotal Frankenstein movie, where this, I'm like, they made conscious decisions to kind of stray away from what James Whale's Frankenstein looks like, but I just felt like none of it looked iconic. Like, just Frankenstein's look, it wasn't for me at all. And I feel like this movie was just answering the question, like, what if Frankenstein fucked?
Yeah, like the look, I mean, it works for the movie. I thought, given him, he kind of looks like the engineer from Prometheus, with a mix of Billy from Hocus Pocus. Like he's supposed to look sexy but sleek and monstrous at the same time. So, when you're going like for a movie where like a lot of people are saying like, oh, I don't remember Elizabeth falling in love with the creature, I didn't get that aspect. Like I just felt like she just would like felt like his pain and stuff and just felt motherly towards him. There is like a nice homage to her being the bride of Frankenstein with her sleeves in the movie, towards the later half of the movie. I don't want to spoil too much, but what's it called? I doubt we're gonna get a Bride of Frankenstein sequel to this, but like it was just a nice little touch, like with Guillermo Del Toro's love for the original movies, I think. But yeah, I guess like in terms of just like if you're trying to convey that there's like love there or something, or like to make him less frightening to some of the other people, like you had to go with a like more sleek, sexy version of him, which like it didn't bother me, but I could see it being like kind of off-putting towards a lot of people, especially when like, Frankenstein, when I think of Frankenstein, I mean, I look at the shirt, like it's such an iconic image of horror. It's engraved in all of our heads, whether you've seen the movie or not. So it's a different, interesting look to him, I guess you could say, but it was like a little, I was very caught off guard by how much he looked like the engineer at the beginning. When he grows his hair, he kind of has his own like individuality to him, though.
I didn't mind his look when he's like in the beginning, that first scene, obviously when you see him near the boat, he like has a different look. I mean, obviously Frankenstein's so iconic, I'm never really going to see this interpretation as Frankenstein, but I didn't mind that kind of look. But I also did feel like, dude, this kind of looks just like Nosferatu when he's wearing his big kind of garbs in the movie. And I mean, you can even think about like Robert Eggers had this issue with Nosferatu of like the original iconic Nosferatu as like this crazy long nose and big ears and crazy fingers, and he had to make a different approach to it to like be different. I just felt like that one was maybe a easier pill to swallow than this one. I feel like ultimately that didn't like detract from the movie, and that's not the main reason why I disliked this movie. I thought this whole thing was just one of the most bloated, ham-fisted movies. Those were the things that I disliked about it, was how bloated it was. And a lot of it that I did like and came away from enjoying this movie was really just the visuals. I felt like when it came to the script, I was just like, dude, this thing could have been way shorter. Just get to the point, because I feel like nothing is really there left for like metaphor. It's all just spoon fed to you, to where it's like, all right, we kind of got this. Like, you don't need to keep like making us take our medicine. But that was just me. I felt like, I mean, I know Guillermo Del Toro's love letter to Frankenstein, was something he has always been trying to build up in his career, was making this movie. But ultimately, I just felt disappointed in his interpretation of it.
No, I think everything you're saying is 100% valid, because, the critic in me does want to find stuff to complain about or find the faults of the movie, because, like, at the end of the day, that's what we're supposed to do, critique these movies, and it is bloated, but it works for me just because I love this. I love the universal monsters in general. I love the look. I love the costumes. I love the cinematography. I love the over-the-top colors and just that over-the-top speaking and hand movements in everyone's voices. It works for a movie like this, but, it doesn't work for everyone. I see so many people, like, coming at like people's throats and like TikTok if you didn't like this movie, but I feel like it's very valid if you didn't like this movie. Like, if you love this source material, you are gonna love this movie. That's why I love this movie. But it is too long of a movie. It is very cartoony at times, and also like it is kind of like something I've always like kind of disliked, making monsters like sexy and stuff. So those are all things that if you didn't like that part of the movie, it's 100% valid, and I agree, but it's just overall, luckily it worked for me though, and I loved it, and it is one of my favorites of the year, and I'm glad Guillermo Del Toro. This is basically what Peter Jackson did to King Kong. Like, if you love King Kong, you're gonna love having a 3-hour interpretation of it. But if you don't, you're just like, why is it so long? And like, it's not that great and stuff. So this is very reminiscent of Peter Jackson's 2005 remake of King Kong, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is the same thing where he took the source material, he fleshed it out as far as he possibly could and as much as Netflix's wallet was allowing him. But ultimately, like you said, it's going to work for some people that really want that longer version of it. But I was here for the bridge version, and I definitely didn't get it. But yeah, like, I think like everything we've kind of said, like just that interpretation that he went with was not my favorite. But this film is beautiful to look at. There's some awesome sequences in this movie. I could honestly do away with the whole entire what was it, like the Whisper of the Forest segment. Like I felt like that could have just been lifted. That had almost no point in the movie. But yeah, that just goes to like, this is the unabridged version of Frankenstein.
Yeah. So, like I think both sides are valid. For the most part, it looks like it is pretty universal acclaimed. But there are still, with every movie, there's always the people that like aren't into it. But this is one of those few movies where I don't find it to be a divisive movie. I could just see it working for a lot of people, but also not working for some people too. So, yeah, I'm very happy with what we got within this movie. It is a movie that I would have preferred seeing in theaters, but it was actually a lot better for me to watch at home because I did fall asleep the first time watching it. I did have to take a lot of bathroom breaks, and seeing a 2.5 hour movie is something I do quite frequently, like movies like Weapons and stuff still too. But, I struggled during that movie, and this is a movie I also would have struggled during too.
I will say the longer film is much more insufferable at home on your TV. Like if you see it in a theater, it's like you have to be there in the theater, but you do struggle more with just the fact like you're watching this film. Like I think I finished the first 90 minutes and was like, all right, how much longer is left? Probably like 30 minutes. It felt like it had already been at the 2 hour mark. Like I knew going in that this is a 2 hour and 30 minute film. And I was like, dude, I still have a full movie left of this movie. Or is it 3 hours or 2 hours and 30 minutes?
It's 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Okay, yeah. It felt like I had a full movie left. I'm like, dude, buckle up. We got a lot more to go. But yeah, like I just think this would have benefited more not being under the Netflix umbrella. But I do understand that was probably the only way to get this thing made.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually Del Toro. I mean, well, I know that this movie is playing in theaters. I think starting on November 17th at the time we're recording this. That's a couple days before that. Yeah, I'm not sure how many theaters it's going to play in. It's a little like, I know it played in like 3 cities, I believe. I think it was just New York, Chicago, and LA. Started on November, I think like the last week of October it came out, and now November 7th it came out for full distribution on Netflix, and now November 17th is when it's going to play in theaters. I assume that's to kind of get in all the Oscar buzz essentially, but cool that some people will be able to see it. It is a movie I'm curious to check out in theaters. So yeah, I say bravo. Del Toro used that money to make something that was a huge passion project of his, and it shows. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I'd say like, I mean, if you have Netflix, most likely you should at least check this out if it's for you. It was not for me.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix definitely wants you to watch it so that they can get some of their budget back for this movie. I assume like this movie looks like it's a $200 million movie. I wouldn't be surprised if Del Toro made it between 100 and 150 million also, but I'm curious what the budget was. Not that it really like detracts from anything, but yeah, so Netflix, they want you to watch it. What are your thoughts coming out of Frankenstein? Do you agree, disagree, half agree with our opinion? Let us know in the comments below, because that's a great way to help support the show.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, catch all our social media links down below. We have Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, as well as our own personal Letterboxd accounts. That's it for this week. Tune in next week for a brand new video.